All right, here we go. I think we're live. We'll do it live.
Let's
Fuck
go,
it.
baby.
We'll do it
We're
live.
doing live.
Fucking thing sucks. All right, let's check. Let's check here first. I got this shit open on my phone. Let's see if we are really live or we're bullshit live. Oh, looks like. Oh, we are live. Let me just make sure. You got to talk so I make sure your audio is right.
Are we live? Hello?
Oh, we're good to go. All right, let's do this thing. Welcome to the show. Oh my God, technical difficulties, but we're back. It's been a minute. It's been man. It's been like what, 3 months, 4 months, more than that. It's been a minute. How long has it been? Oh shit, are we frozen again? Oh no. Say it ain't so. Just when we get it fixed. All right, well, I'm gonna filibuster. Pause. All right, we are back. It's been a minute since we've done a full show, but I did a couple basketball shows, but then my computer died. We had technical difficulties. We had technicalities. We had all kinds of problems, and we're working out the kinks now for a bigger and better than ever season. But I think we're getting it together right now. We have the man, the myth, the legend, the flexiest of the flexi, Mr. Flexcellent is in the building. Give it up for Flex.
How do you do?
Back and better than ever. What is that? Is that who's that? Gastineau?
Gaston, no. Is it Gaston yes or Gaston no? It's a Gaston no.
Gastineau. I seen a dude with a Gastineau jersey. I forget where I was at, but I was like, wow, look at my nigga right here.
No. It's Will McDonald had a sack.
Oh, Will McDonald had a sack.
Yeah, but it's already it's already outdated because he changed his number.
Did he? What number is he now?
Yeah, he went to 9.
Man, these changing number ass niggas. I'm glad I waited to get my Garrett Wilson jersey because I'd have been tight if I was rocking a 17 and he changed.
I think you would be you could there's a chance that you would be approached by somebody who thought you were Garrett Wilson if you wore your Garrett Wilson jersey. Yeah.
There's zero chance of that. I look more like Owen Wilson than I do Garrett Wilson right now. I'm not anything close to Garrett Wilson. I wish. I appreciate. I take that as a compliment. I appreciate it, but it's a compliment I can't even really. It's so over the top. I can't even digest it.
Wow.
I'm over here. I am in full on. I'm in full chill mode right now. Like I'm embracing getting older right now. I'm in that vibe right now. I haven't gone full embrace, full time, permanent. Like I'm testing the waters. I'm like, let me see what this, if I just fully just chill and like stop stressing on some young man shit and just go, go with the old flow, like what life is like. So that's where I'm at right now. Like I could try to be on some young guy fly shit, Garrett Wilson type shit if I was. I mean, I couldn't if I really tried, but it would maybe be more appropriate if I was even. But I'm on some old dusty nigga shit right now, nigga. I'm dusty. I got the feather duster on. I'm dusty right now. I'm dusty. Like when you so dusty that you don't take pride in nothing. Like I don't even care. don't even care to
Yeah.
take pride in nothing. I don't take pride in how I look, how I eat. You know what I had for dinner last night? I had a grilled cheese with hot dogs inside.
I mean,
That's when you just don't
I'm
give
not
a
gonna lie, that
fuck.
sounds good.
Yo, it
That
was
sounds
mad
good.
good, but it's that's some like you don't
That's
care about
something
you
you
don't
wouldn't
care if
do.
you live to see tomorrow when you eat something like that
Yeah,
for
yeah,
dinner.
yeah. Yeah. I
Cause
respect
I
it
was
though.
cause I was sitting
You
there
know,
and I had this pepper jack cheese that I got, and I was like, yo, you know what? I gotta get rid of this cheese. I was like, let me. They had this like artesian bread that was on sale in
ooh,
the store. And like usually I don't even buy bread. I don't even keep bread in the crib. I don't fuck with bread like that. Usually when I'm on my shit.
mm,
But I was like, you know what, man? I got this
yeah,
cheese. I was like, this bread. It looks like it could make a good grilled cheese. It could make a good French toast. And since I'm on my just bugging shit right now, this is I don't give a fuck
mm,
summer. So I was like, yo, let
yeah,
me get this bread. I'm gonna make myself some. I was like, yo, and I had like some hot dogs in the back of the freezer. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna fucking chop these shits up, put them in there too. Shit
yeah.
was mad good.
Hell yeah, nigga. That's how you do it though, man. You take the step, then you know where that step takes you. You know what I'm saying? That's how you slowly work it out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it has some, like you wear a certain clothes, right? And then you try that out and like, you know what? I'm not gonna give a fuck. I'm gonna try this clothes on. I'm gonna wear this. I don't give a damn, right? Then you see like, you know what? I actually don't like it. It wasn't that comfortable. So I'm gonna dial that back. I'm gonna take a different route next time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to feel your way into this. You know what I'm saying? Like into the dad level, the unk, slowly creeping towards the unk uh age bracket, you know what I'm saying? Like where you can't be doing all the shit that you see all these young dudes doing, or you
Nah,
know what
chill,
I'm
chill,
saying?
chill,
Like,
chill, chill, chill. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. I
no,
told you
what
I'm
I'm
on. I
saying is,
told you this is a temporary situation. This is not.
but what
I'm
I'm
not
saying
fully
is you get
committed
a
yet.
feel. No, 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 no. But that's why I'm not saying you take the deep dive, because that's when you don't care. What I'm saying is, you know, you get a feel for what you're comfortable with doing, and mix it with what you're also doing. So you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to go full into it, but you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I've had instances where like I've like done something and then realized, like white men do this shit. Like that type of shit where it's like you try and it's like, you know what? Like a shirt, or like cargo shorts or something when you're doing something outside and you need extra pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, oh, okay, that's now hey, you got a pocket for your knife, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you experiment. You know what I'm saying? Into the next phase. It's almost like an artist. When artists, they try certain things on their albums. They take a certain, artistic turn. Is similar. You know what I'm saying? You get a feel for, you know. If you don't
Yeah,
like
but you
it,
gotta
you
remember.
know
You
what I'm
gotta
saying? You could
remember.
dial it back. You know what you know.
You gotta remember. I don't have a family. I don't have kids. I like. I if I'm not on bullshit, what do I got nothing. What do I have? Like I need to be, like I'm again, I've committed to this for the summer and I'm comfortable with it. I'm at peace with it. But at the same time, there's a part of me that knows I can't get too crazy because I need to be on bullshit
Hmm.
sometimes. If I'm not on bullshit, I got nothing. Like you don't gotta be on bullshit. In fact, you probably shouldn't be on bullshit because you got kids. You're a grown man. I'm not there.
Yeah, no, but my only point was also like, because at the same time, as a person, like, what you don't want to do is be the person who everybody knows, almost like what they say with like athletes, where like they're always the last one to know. Like when something no, when you know
You're
what I'm
gonna have
saying?
to rip the
You
jersey
don't want to
off
be
of
the
me.
last one to know that you're old. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to show little, it's almost like showing little morsels of
Self-awareness.
self-awareness when it comes to that. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? I do this and that, but I'm not pretending that I'm not my age. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm aware, but you know what? I still like to do this. I still like to look like this. I still do my thing. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm not being delusional. Like
Yeah.
when I go to the like you be going to the gym and there's the guy that has the jet black shape up, receding hairline
Oh
hair.
yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And he thinks that nobody knows that he's old. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah.
what I'm
He thinks
talking
he's
about.
fooling people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of thinking you're fooling people, they thought they fooled us this morning, trying to make us think that Justin Fields is going to be out for the season. But seems like it seems like a legitimate injury, but not something that puts him in any real danger. So that's good. So we got a lot of shifting things have happened since we last had the show. I think the last one was right after the draft, right? That was the last. That had to have been the last joint we did. Must have been right after the draft. We haven't done too much free agency. There was no Rodgers wasn't with Pittsburgh yet. I don't even think that we might have. It might have been before. Did they trade Pickens before or after the draft? I don't even remember.
No, it was after the draft, but I don't think it was that much after because I think
Yeah, but I,
we
I feel like it was.
we
Yeah, I feel
we
like
may
that
have
has
talked
happened
about it.
since our last show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
So what else has happened? What are the consequential moves? Because to be honest with you, I just started doing my Oh, so I'll actually let me present that too. So I just started doing my fantasy rankings, tiers, and all that. I'm gonna do another top 10 list of guys I don't plan on
Ooh,
having on my fantasy team
love it.
by position. I'll have one of those ready by next week, probably running backs, because I'm starting with running backs and I'm going to go to receivers. But probably next week we'll do fantasy running backs. But I've started looking, doing my little recon, seeing who's where, because, I feel like I do a pretty decent job of keeping up with the moves as they happen. But, sometimes with the NFL offseason, like J.K. Dobbins with the Broncos, that one caught me by surprise. I didn't realize he was a Bronco, and I'm still looking for Gus Edwards. I don't. Do you know where he's at? Is he on the team? I mean, not
Uh,
that he's somebody who should be consequential in fantasy anyway, but it just made me think. Like when I was going through the backfields and I knew that the Chargers drafted a running back, and I knew that they signed Najee Harris, as we learned when he tried to blow his own eyeball out on 4th of July. But
he
that
did a
was when I
Wile E.
was like, oh yeah,
Coyote.
that's right. I was like, that's their running back room, and I knew that Dobbins. So I saw that Dobbins was with the Broncos, but the Gus bus seems to be parked somewhere, parts unknown. I don't know where he's at, but hopefully we don't gotta even get into. I feel like he's my least favorite fantasy running back
The
to
guy
talk
that
about.
steals least favorite stealer of touchdowns.
Yeah, man, he steals touchdowns, and he's always that guy where it's like he's always like there's always at least 1 or 2 weeks in every season where he's the top waiver wire guy for whatever reason, whether it's a bye week, whether it's an injury, and you're always like, should I pick him up? Is it worth it? Is he gonna do something? You're looking at the matchup, and it's like he could have 12 yards and 4 touchdowns, or he could have 12. He could have 12 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
somehow, every time I say I'm not gonna do this again, he always ends up on my team. Always.
Yeah, is he still on the Chargers or?
I don't know. I
'Cause
didn't see him there,
that's who
but
pops. That's what pops up for me.
all right. So maybe he's still there. Practice squad. Who knows? I don't know. But so so they have a new backfield. Where's Miles Sanders again? He's with
Chicago? No.
No. Is he with the Cowboys? I can't remember where Miles Sanders went. Chicago is they're gonna run it back with DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson.
He is a Cowboy.
He is a Cowboy. Okay. Did Khalil Herbert, is he still with the Bengals? Because I know they traded for him last year. They got Zach Moss, Chase Brown. I don't even know if he's on the team. I think they're going with Chase Brown as their number one. I don't think they traded for Herbert last year, but I don't think he's still there.
Well, it's for the Colts.
Colts. Okay, so he's a Colt. Miles Sanders, you said he is a Cowboy.
Yes.
Okay, so he's a Cowboy. What are the other consequential moves? Obviously, there was the DK trade, but that was a while ago. There was the George Pickens trade. What are the other consequential moves? I think a pending consequential move. We got resolution finally to the long Rashee Rice pending suspension. He's going to be suspended. I just don't know how long, but I'd be shocked if he wasn't suspended. So we're waiting on that to come down. What his suspension is going to be. That's going to impact some fantasy projections. But it's weird though because like for the Chiefs, you got all these dudes coming back from injuries. Rashee Rice coming back from injury. I think they still want to do something with Hollywood Brown. I don't even know if Juju Smith-Schuster's still lurking around there. He's always lurking around with the Chiefs. And then obviously Xavier Worthy, but I don't know. I don't know who gets put where, in those rankings because it's like I want to say Rashee Rice would be the number one if he's healthy, and if there's just so much questions. It's like, is he healthy from the knee?
Yeah.
Also, is he gonna, how long is he gonna be suspended? And if he's just like, is he even worth a draft? Because I've been seeing the rankings. I did a couple mock drafts, and I see he's the first Chiefs receiver to come up. Like he's the highest ranked Chiefs receiver. But I'm like, yo, why would I'm going to draft him not knowing how long the suspension is going to be, not knowing what he's going to look like coming off of injury. I mean, we expect he's a young enough dude, and it's not, ACL surgeries are not career enders, but, it could be, I just feel like it could be one of those situations where you draft him and you stash him through his suspension, whether it's 3 games, 4 games. So you miss those games, and then it's like, do I start him his first game back, or do they ease him in? And by the time you get something out of him,
And then by
there's
the
like
time
two weeks left
you're in the
season.
playoffs or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also
this
that's
guy
also
retired. That kind of surprised me. Mike Williams, he was a young dude.
yeah, that kind of felt like it came out of nowhere.
Especially since I thought it made sense. He re-signed with the Chargers, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's a little bit of a homecoming for him. He kind of bounced around. He had,
and it was decent money too.
Yeah, and I guess whatever injury situation he's dealing with, I guess he has not fully been able to bounce back because, that retirement was weird. But and Cooper Kupp, where's Cooper Kupp at again? Where's he? Seattle? Where's he at?
Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp with Seattle. Devontae Adams, basically the Cooper Kupp replacement with the Rams. What other moves have happened? I think that's most of them. I think those are the big ones.
Mhm.
Obviously, Stephon Diggs with the Patriots. Um,
That's going over well.
yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's any other real sort of.
Yeah, because
Who's gonna be the
the
Saint?
running
Who's
back
on the
that
Saints? Are the Saints gonna have a season? Are they playing this football this year?
Brandon Cooks is back on the
Oh,
Saints.
that's right. I knew there was somebody with the Saints. I'd forgotten about that.
Brandon Cooks, Chris Olave, like from my dog. I what I is it Tyler Shuck that's going to be the quarterback there, or
I
are
think
they?
so.
It's a strange. That's a strange setup that they've got going on down there, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because the football season isn't fully underway, or maybe the talking about the Saints doesn't really do numbers like that. But man, that's a disaster right there.
Yeah, man. That feels to me like we're not even gonna try this season. Cause
Yeah, man, I can't.
the only thing that I say, like, the only thing that makes me feel like they, not to say that they're gonna be a surprise or that they're gonna do anything. Like I want to say the Saints aren't gonna win a game this year. But the only thing that makes me question that is that division is always weird. I don't think they'll
Yeah.
win, but you know, could they win 5, 6 games in that division? Maybe. Which I feel like would be huge. I like if you were just talking about where, like, to me, I don't think they'll be favored in one game the whole year.
Yeah, on paper they should probably lose every game.
Yeah,
But
exactly. They'll be
that's just not
dogs
how it
every game.
works, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, so all right. So here's something that I wanted to talk to you about actually before I forget. Quarterback season 2. Have you watched any of it?
No, I have not.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, not excellent. You should watch it. But there's there was something from quarterback
Now, who are
that
they? Who are the quarterbacks?
okay, so the quarterbacks, what the hell is this? See, this is that fucking touch shit that I was just talking to you about.
Hmm.
Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and they brought back Kirk Cousins.
Oh, so Joe Burrow. Oh no. Oh, okay. No, I was confused because Joe Burrow, the Batman card thing, that was from the AFC North,
Yeah, that was from the in-season Hard
Hard
Knocks.
Knocks. Gotcha.
Which is weird because he must have been filming these both at the same time.
Yeah.
Because this whole season of quarterback is from that same year, from last year.
Oh.
But so here's the thing. I'll give a. I'm not gonna try. I won't give any spoilers. Not that it's weird. It's a weird thing because it's like you shouldn't really think that there's spoilers because we seen like we know how the fucking season ends, right? But I
Yeah.
was thinking to myself as I was watching this shit, I was like, damn. Part of me, I'm torn because there's a part of me that looks at it and I'm like, yo, I love that I know what happened and I get to see the behind the scenes of everything that happened in the season. But at the same time, there's a part of me that almost wishes that I didn't know what happened in the season. So I'm not like looking for shit. Because there was a couple of things that I was looking for that I didn't get. And I was disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was when Joe Burrow's crib got broken into. You remember that? I think it was during the Dallas game.
Yeah.
If you remember when he got his crib broken into, there was a shorty staying at the crib that called the cops, or at least that's what was reported. And it was this mystery broad that we didn't
Mm-hmm.
know who it was. And I'm like, let's go. We're about to find out who this is in Joey B's crib.
Now, there's it.
Nothing.
It's Miss. It's Miss E Broad because Mr. E Broad is Joe Burrow.
Well, exactly, because we didn't find, they don't tell you who it is. He doesn't even mention it, and at no point in the whole joint do you ever see a broad with him in his crib, which I thought was
Mm,
kind of whack. Like, I guess I shouldn't have expected. Like, he seems like the type of dude that whatever's going on in his private life, he's trying to keep it private, and I could respect that. But I was curious to see, are we going to see at least, even if he doesn't even introduce her to the cameras, doesn't address her, are we going to just see in the background some chick walking around in the crib? Nothing. You get nothing. All you get is him. They make him seem kind of like a dork a little bit. I mean, not like a dork,
no,
but
of
like a
course.
lonely dude. Like it's him with his parents. They don't ever show him with no friends. His only friend is Jamar Chase and his friends that he talks to when he's playing video games. That's it. That's all. That's all you get. You get him playing on the Xbox with the headset. He's like, oh, I keep in touch with my friends with this. Whack.
Well, is there a quarterback or player or big? Actually, no. Is there a superstar that can get away with being portrayed as this cool guy? Like superstar. Like every time he wears something, it's news. But then also gets the benefit of like, like, he's just a regular Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like the polar opposites of like anytime he does something good or like popular or something, it's like, oh, Joe Burrow this. And then anytime like either with his play or or to use that example, like something off the field where where like everything gets like there's no like blood third like out for blood with him when it comes to
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But he gets
He's a
all the
really
credit and
unique.
all the like.
No, go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, no. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you're right. He has a really unique, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking it as I was watching this shit. Because I feel like he has a really unique. I don't know if it. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know if it's his brand or if it's his like public profile or how you want to describe it. But he exists in this weird place. Because I was even thinking it because it was actually funny because I was thinking about it because like you're exactly right. He has like this whole kind of like he's a superstar in most of the normal senses of the term. But like he does something like he does the fashion week in Paris where he got his back blown out and he's wearing the suit looking crazy.
Ah, yeah,
And
that
it's
was
funny
rough.
because I was thinking about that and I was thinking to myself like they call him quote unquote Joe Cool. But when I look at him, like watching the series and watching him talk, he's cool, but in the sense of like cool as in not emotional either way. Like he's always kind of calm and composed, but he's not cool as in like smooth or like
Yeah.
charismatic. There's nothing cool about him in that sense. He's
Mhm.
cool as in keeping it cool and being calm or whatever, all that sense. But he has very little. He has very little charisma. He's not exactly Mr. Captivating when he talks or just like his whole like his life. And I don't know if that could be a Cincinnati thing because I was thinking about that too when I was like, you know, he's kind of, like people get all into like what his pregame fits and like he's real into fashion and all that, but the Cincinnati thing is a weird puts him in a weird place because I just don't look at him as like man about town type of a dude. Like he's no Joe Namath. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
Mhm.
cool in terms of like again, calm, poised on the field, but he Joe Cool, Joe Namath was you were talking about a whole different playboy
Yeah.
status, man about town, the fur coat, like he was wearing it, but he was living it. Like and not to say that
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Burrow is
Yeah.
like faking it, But I just like again, maybe I don't know if it might be a Cincinnati thing, but he's not living that life like that, or at least that's not his public profile.
Yeah, like it's almost like he has the cigar, and there's always somebody there to take a picture of him with the cigar. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost it just I don't know. I think he has a little bit of like Aaron Judge type of where it's like people assume he's cool because he's so good, and like like you said, like he's not, it just doesn't seem like he's like flustered by the moment or anything like that, but at the end of the day he doesn't actually do anything that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I will say he does do one thing that was very cool to start. Like it's within the first 5 minutes of the first episode of this shit. I'm not gonna that I won't spoil, but he does one very like the way they sort of introduce him because like it starts off they're given like a little bit of a background of all the quarterbacks and he's kind of like the first one that they introduce. They go to his house first in the first episode and um like he's talking to the producer, whoever is there with him, and they go into like this whole thing talking about his talk about him how he was drafted number one overall. They talk about him winning in college. They show highlights and like that's like his introduction scene, and the way his introduction scene gets kicked off is hard, very hard. I was within the first 5 minutes, the way that they introduced him, particularly musically, I was locked in. I was like, let's fucking go. And the other thing, the other big
But
takeaway that I will say, go ahead.
but is that him or is that like the production?
So I don't want to spoil it. I think, because I have some specific thoughts on that specific question. That's a great question. I'm not sure would be the way I would answer that. I want to say it's a little bit of both, but
Okay.
I suspect I have some suspicion that there was some inauthenticity taking place in the way that it came about. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there was something about the way that it came out that it made me think like, yo, this shit is ill. If this shit was just natural, it's even iller. And even if it was bullshit, like even if it was more produced than it looks, it still was hard. Just because of the
Mhm.
choices that they made. But if it was
Yeah.
organic, then it's even harder. That's the
Okay.
best way I could describe it. But the one thing I
All right.
will say, yo, I love Jared Goff. Love the guy. That's my
Yeah.
biggest takeaway from this shit is I fell in love with Jared Goff. I fuck with Jared Goff hard.
Okay. Just as an overall person, guy,
Yes, and
leader, like yeah.
so I will say there were a couple of moments, and I'm gonna be completely honest. There were a couple of moments throughout I think it's 7 episodes. I think it's 7 full episodes of the season, 7 episodes. There were a couple of moments throughout I would say maybe there was maybe 2 or 3 moments where I got like I started feeling emotional. They were all associated with Jared Goff, all of them, and like it's not that he's like the man or he's I didn't realize how ill he was. It's not even like that. It's just seeing just him behind the scenes and what he's about. Like he's not a really particularly interesting dude, to be honest with you, but it's just like his story. Because they talk to like I said, when they give him the backgrounds of the quarterbacks, when they talk about how how he was drafted number one, he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, and how he kind of got traded, and he didn't. He talks about that, and it was funny because I think that's the first. I think he has briefly in one of those like I'm gonna be on Monday Night Football, so I'm gonna sit down and do one of these little interviews with Dan Orlovsky or some of that shit. I think in one of those little interviews he spoke about the trade, But that's like in season before a
Mhm.
primetime game. Like I feel like those quarterbacks for the most part, they're just trying to get the interview done and get out of it. They're not trying to be super introspective or really, give true feelings on anything. But in this interview, where you know that this is going to be a whole season long thing, and I assume that most of the interviews that they do are after this shit is all over and they're just sort of recapping because they're sitting there doing the whole wearing the same shit the whole time for a lot of those interviews where they're sort
Mhm.
of narrating, and I feel like in that setting he was a little bit more honest and revealing about how he felt about the trade. And again, not that he said anything flagrant, but it's the first time I've seen him really kind of be in that position where he can really kind of talk about it in a more long form sense. And he talked about how, he talked about how it kind of flipped how he felt about the trade because he got the phone call from Sean. He said he got this phone call from Sean McVay, and he was like stunned by it. He said like 30 seconds later it was all over Twitter. And then he said like just a few minutes after that, he got his phone was blowing up and it was a number that he didn't recognize, so he didn't pick it up because he was still trying to process the whole shit. Like he just got traded, he didn't see it coming, and he was going through all the feels. And then I think he said that his agent called him and was like, "Yo, pick up the phone. They're trying to reach out to you from the Lions." And that he said that Dan Campbell and the Lions GM both called him and that they were like genuinely super duper hyped to have him, and they made him feel like welcome and shit like that. And he said that it really helped to flip him out of that doldrums that he was feeling, kind of being stunned from the initial trade. And it was good because they had
That's dope. It's like good that they didn't want me. Good.
yeah, and he was like, it was good to look, feel wanted. And then it was good because they had Dan Campbell and the Lions GM also sat down and talked about it and gave a little bit of an interview. Like Dan Campbell sat down for a while. He talks like throughout the series quite a bit about what was going on. So I thought that was cool. And then just like he's there, and like I knew that his wife was like a model or whatever. But she seems to be real cool. And he just seems like to be like a real like a real basic chill type of dude. Motherfuckers, he's like, he got like a charity where he has like like black kids designing clothes, and he puts these black kids through school. I'm like, yo, I fuck with this nigga Jared Goff, man. Like I was like, yo, I was getting. He
For
was
real?
talking about putting the black kids through school, and he's talking to the kids. He's getting emotional. I'm getting emotional. Like I was like, yo, this is my guy. I fuck with Jared Goff.
Oh, I watched this.
Yeah, like I
Nah,
was just
you
like, yo,
you
he
you're
seems like a real
basically
one.
you already like you're already making me feel like I love this dude already.
I don't know how you could watch it and not come away with like, at minimum, like he's a real one. Like maybe I don't know if you're not a Lions fan. Like I'm obviously not a Lions fan. I don't really care. But I don't know if somebody is a whatever, if they hate on him because they don't think he's that good or whatever. But like as a dude, I felt like he came off spotless. He came off. I can't see how you could hate on the guy after that. I will say, interestingly enough, I think the most interesting story was Kirk Cousins, just because of the benching.
Mm.
They start off, they introduce him talking about, and I thought it was good that this was one of the rare times. I don't think he's really talked too much publicly or give interview about how he felt about after the draft. All that shit was statements put out through his agent and bullshit like that. I don't think he's ever given an interview about that specifically, but he talked about he went back to even the decision to leave Minnesota. And like I assumed, and I think we all kind of assumed that was a tough decision for him to leave Minnesota, but he really kind of explains, like he was like, they didn't want to offer him a long-term deal, which I think we all kind of understood and expected. He said he wanted to stay. He said that he went, when he went, obviously was on the open market, got the offer from Atlanta. He has some ties back in Atlanta. I forget what his connection is with Atlanta, but something about that I forget what it was. It was something that him
Yeah,
and with his
his
wife or
church or
something like
something like
that.
that.
Say again.
His church or something like that. If
Something
I'm
like that.
not
He might actually
mistaken.
something like that. Yeah, something like that. He has connections out there that I had forgotten about, but he talks about that. He was like, "Yeah, I'm excited to go, whatever, blah blah blah," and but you could tell that they were torn about leaving Minnesota. And then if you remember when they played Minnesota, when Atlanta went into Minnesota to play on the road, he really talked a lot about how heavy that was for him and his family. They did a lot of talking to his wife. His wife was all emotional about, it was hard. We left our friends, and he explaining to the kids, and he said that it was weird when he went back, that he flew, like flying, just the experience of flying into the Minnesota airport, and like all the shit that you see when you're seeing that. He's like, we flew over our old house, and by seeing the stadium, and like all those kind of like little details that like we always assume this type of stuff when it comes to guys going back to former teams or whatever, but getting the details behind it and him actually giving voice to it was pretty interesting. He talked about that. He talked about and it was funny because there's a scene where it was early in the season. Like, I can't remember. I think it might have been after week 4, week 5. Like one of the games where he really started to struggle, where he had gotten injured, and it's like, as football fans, we watch this shit, and when dudes get injured, like if they're playing, there's the classic: if you're playing, you're not hurt. If you're
Yeah.
hurt, you're not playing. So he was. I feel like, to try to be fair to him, I think a lot of the struggles that he had before he got benched for Michael Penix was not because of the Achilles injury, but more because he had a shoulder and an elbow injury. And, just the pressures of trying to stay, like, to tell you the truth, I don't even know that he would have played those games leading up to the benching if he didn't have a high first round draft pick behind him. He might have just sat
Yeah.
out one of those games and tried to get healthy. But yeah, so him getting benched, he was talking about that quite a bit. I thought that was pretty interesting. And there was a couple of moments where just seeing him sort of make that transition to Atlanta, like there's a part where he's learning the playbook, and he's talking about how in the new playbook, it was a lot of motion. And not to be fucked up, but I don't want to throw Kirk Cousins off the boat, but I feel like there's a part of me that was kind of like the excuse machine was getting cranked up a little bit.
Ah,
And this is before the
yeah.
injury. Like before the season even started, before the first game, he's talking about, he's like sitting there reading the playbook. He's like, there's so much motion and it's just a lot. And I'm like, yeah, that,
Yeah,
like,
keep that shit to yourself.
I mean, not keep it to yourself, but like, if you're doing a documentary, whatever, you got to be. It's not like he was talking. Well, that actually no. To your point, there was a couple of times where he was like on the practice field talking to, whether it was coaches or, there's a lot of. It seemed like he was doing a little bit of complaining to coach. Like, it was one thing. There was a scene where they show him in his crib and he's just reading the playbook and he's like talking to the producer. He's like, yeah, my last team, the last playbook didn't have all this motion. This is a lot of motion, a lot of pre-snap stuff, and blah blah blah. And I'm not used to that. I was like, okay, you're doing a documentary, you're being open. But when I see him doing it with the coaches and with the teammates, I'm kind of like, yo, bro, ain't nobody trying to
Like,
hear that. You
oh,
just
come
showed up.
on. Like, why are
You
you
just
doing
showed up
this?
with you got a big bag to come show up. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. And then there was one part where he's driving and he he does this thing where he leaves voice memos for the coaches and players. Like
Mm,
like how Cheeks be doing. He does that,
yeah.
and he left this voice memo. And again, this is why I'm kind of like, I part of me wishes I didn't know how the season went, because when he left this voice memo for the head coach Raheem Morris, I was like, he's done. Just because he leaves this voice memo and he's like, hey, I just want to say I'm not really playing well, and I think we should sit down and talk about it. And I was just thinking to myself, like, there's part of me that's like, I mean, at least he's being honest, but I don't know how well that is received in that environment. Like, I feel like when you're the new guy who got the bag and you're talking all this about how this is hard and I'm not doing this, and like there's a fine line between accountability and excuse making.
Because in his head he's probably saying like, "Oh, I should probably let people know that I know I'm not playing that well." But at the same time, like I've already thrown in a couple excuses of to why maybe like what led up to it. So it's almost like he made excuses for why he wasn't going to play. Like I'm just going off like the timeline that you're telling me these
Mm-hmm.
things. So it almost feels like based on how you're telling me this, it's almost like he laid the groundwork for knowing that maybe it's going to take a little bit of time to get to his former self, coming off the injury. And then he's saying, well, like after the fact, like after he realizes that that is indeed the case, like, oh, let people know that I know I'm not playing that well, but I already made the excuses. It's not like,
Yes.
yo, listen, I know I'm not playing well because, remember I got a knee, this and that. It's almost like, all right, let me lay the groundwork. He laid the groundwork for the excuses, but without going all the way to the excuse, and then like letting you put it together on your own, which I mean, I get it because it's like um he's always kind of been like, I don't want to say that type of guy, but just always like he feels like he always has to justify why, like even he's like the highest paid like quarterback of all time. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like everybody calls him like like the bag. I forget the terminology that is used to like describe him a bit. Like
Kirko
like based
Chains.
off, yeah, based off like, yeah, exactly, like the number one, like a bag, like the bag expert in getting the bag, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
where like, okay, on the field it doesn't, he's not the person who should be that guy, you know what I'm saying, if we're talking about like overall performance and on the field, but like his talent, like his best talent is being able to get all that money all the time. And it just, like, and honestly, it's quite an achievement based on, if you think about it, the 3 or 4 years that as a fourth round pick, the 3 or 4 years that he started already behind the eight ball, like making very little money. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I gotta justify, like, I'm showing, I work hard. I'm not gonna, like I take advantage of my opportunities, but at the same time, I gotta also justify like why I get all this money, and I'm that guy that everybody that is famous for getting all the money all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not, it's not that I was asking for too much money from Minnesota. It's that, they didn't want to give me the guarantee. I go here and it's not like, and I'm going here because I didn't go somewhere else. Like even when Minnesota gave him that contract and he's on the thing with the Jets. It's like, oh, it's it's not that I'm money hungry, it's that I wanted to be here. You know what I'm saying? He's very careful how he crafts like the narrative around him, which because he's the guy with all the chains and all that stuff, but then he's the guy that he's the guy dancing with the chains on the airplane, but then he's that guy that's the Christian,
Yeah, that his wife
wife or
picks out his shirts.
you know what I'm saying? It's like he tries to like do the little the fine line between everything. So it's almost like he's always trying to get away with like kind of seeing where he can kind of manipulate what his like the overall view about him is.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's funny that you say that too because I was thinking like before, like I didn't even know when going in. I didn't even know who the quarterbacks were. So right off the bat, when they show the introductory credits and it's Burrow, it's Goff, and it's Kirk, I'm thinking to myself. I thought to myself, this motherfucker Kirk is a scam artist. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean to what you're saying in terms of I just feel like this motherfucker does such a expert job of crafting this whole Christian, plain vanilla, type of brand for himself. But so much of his actions, his decisions to do documentaries, and like so much of what he does tells a different story. The guy loves to be on the camera, which does not mesh with the whole brand.
No,
That he's trying to
That's Aaron
present.
Rodgers. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But also he's positioned as the anti Aaron Rodgers. So not only is he that's what he's doing, he's also pretty good at it.
No, he's
It
great at it.
seems.
He's brilliant at it. He's masterful at it. But the other thing that I thought was very interesting, and again, I don't want to say too much because I want you to be able to watch it and digest it, and kind of have your own read on it. But the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and I don't know what it means and I don't know what it says, but of the three quarterbacks, you had Burrow, who Jamar Chase sat down and contributed for the documentary, talked about his relationship with Burrow, talked about specific things in games. There was one thing where Jamar Chase and his mom and dad like went to were with Burrow and his mom and dad, and like the six of them were having dinner together, and they were talking about how Jamar Chase's parents have become friends with Joe Burrow's parents, which understandable. They go back a long ways even before pros, so that makes sense. Then there was another scene where they showed Jared Goff, and he is with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown sits down. He's talking about his relationship with Jared Goff throughout all 7 episodes. Like, not too much, but they went to him a couple of times to talk about specific things. He's, talking him up, whatever. Not one of the Falcons contributed, talked about Kirk Cousins. Not one time do you see him with any of his teammates outside of the facility.
Yeah.
Like you saw Jared Goff, there was a scene where he and his wife went to dinner with Amon-Ra St. Brown and his girlfriend. And it was funny because I remember during when they were on Hard Knocks, Amon-Ra St. Brown and his girlfriend and his pop. Wait, actually no, I don't. It might not have been Hard Knocks. It might have been from when they did Receiver. Actually,
Receiver.
yeah, that they because they did both. Because I remember his pops was definitely on Hard Knocks. But the girlfriend I might be remembering from Receiver, but whatever. Like I remembered her and him, and then they showed them they were having dinner with Goff and his wifey. Not one time and not one sit-down interview with one Falcon. The only person from the Falcons who contributed was Raheem Morris, and he looked like a goof. He came off like a total fool, in my opinion. I felt like he looked nothing extreme, but I just felt like he just. And maybe it just goes back to the fact that there were several times during last season where I felt like he looked like a clown, just in some of the post game interviews when he was talking
Yeah,
about the quarterback change. There was this in the Tampa game where I think they went into overtime where he was like getting all in. He was like all hype, getting in Kirk Cousins' face, and Kirk Cousins was almost like walking away from him, like nigga, relax. Like I just felt like
mm.
Raheem Morris does not. I don't know. His vibe is not working for me. And I didn't feel like he came off particularly great. Now, he didn't come off bad, but I did think it was noteworthy that everybody, all the other two dudes, had teammates, coaches, that they
Yeah,
show them with them and that they contributed to the shit. They showed with Joe Burrow bought all the offensive linemen gifts. He got them these samurai swords. They show him eating dinner with the O linemen, and there was nothing with Kirk Cousins. There was
yeah.
no relationship with you don't hear Drake London does not speak once. No Drake London, no Pitts, no Mooney, nobody, no Bijan Robinson. It was just Raheem Morris. There was no offensive coordinator. There was no one spoke about anything on behalf of Kirk Cousins. And I
Well,
thought
I
that
mean that kind of illustrates and kind of highlights and the overall situation. Like it just feels like that kind of like exemplifies like the situation as a whole. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
100%.
Like where it's like
Not
everybody is
even
like,
Penix.
well, yeah,
Like,
but
how did
that's
they
what I
not talk to
that
Penix?
yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's almost like, I mean, because he was asked about that's it, like the Penix and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So him not being like the production or either the production staff or Kirk Cousins was probably asked, "Oh, what do you feel? Like in terms of like the, uh, you know, like asking Kirk Cousins about how would you feel if we asked this person and he gives a yes or no." It just kind of feels like it kind of highlights how awkward the whole situation is,
Yeah,
and how you know as like as backwards, because it's almost like, if that's what the situation is with Kirk, then that's what the situation is within the building. And it just feels like you're the people who did that, like where everybody's walking on eggshells and kind of like they have to be very careful of what they say and how it's portrayed. And you know what, you know, but is it like a chicken or the egg where like the reason why you didn't get that full buy-in from Kirk is almost because like he already knows basically before he got in there, his replacement was already put into place.
yeah,
So it's like, like what, should I dedicate my time, with all of these people if I know that within a year or two I'm going to be out of here, and I'm going to be if because then if I do all the things of like the leader quarterback thing, is that going to be frowned upon as I'm trying to usurp or trying to overstep the development of Michael Penix and a young quarterback? I'm going to look like a hater if I'm the one taking all the wide receivers like an offensive trip, but I don't take Michael Penix. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like,
yeah. He was in a tough
uh
spot.
yeah, he's in a tough spot, but he like kind of like what how like what you've said. He also doesn't come out smelling like roses in terms of
Yeah,
like, making it more comfortable. Like, like maybe it's a little bit more comfortable if you do take him under your wing, but maybe he's a lot more willing to do that if kind of like the Falcons told him, yo, listen, we're gonna take this. This isn't, is it, like kind of explain the whole situation. It just feels awkward, and it's almost like I'm saying, like I said, it's like the chicken or the egg, where it's like, is he doing all of this because of what you did to him, or or is all of this happening because that's who you found out he was when you got him. Like it just seems like just out of whack, just based off what you've like what you're saying and what the overall like preconceived notions of
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins are.
Yeah, I will say, like, I think we all had questions about so much of the Falcons offseason last year, from signing Kirk Cousins originally to then obviously using that high draft pick on Penix, and just sort of the way the whole thing came about. It just made them seem like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And in no way did what I saw from this series dispel that. In fact, it confirmed some of it. Like I felt like
Yeah.
the they like Raheem Morris briefly spoke about the decision to sign Kirk and then to then draft Penix, and whatever reasoning he gave. I mean, there is no good reasoning. I don't know that there's ever going to be a good reasoning that's going to make sense to me, but whatever clumsy reasoning he gave was, it just came out sounding kind of silly. And the whole thing, it was just the Falcons just look kind of like everything looks messy. It just looked real
Yeah.
messy. And even like, to what you were saying actually is funny, because there was a scene where after he gets the call that he's getting benched, they talk to his wife, and his wife is like that they kind of expected that it might happen when it did. And he got a call, and then like his wife is talking about, she said that one of the first things that he did after he got the call from Raheem Morris telling him that they were going to go with Penix, that one of the first things that he did was call Michael Penix.
Mhm.
And she starts like crying, like that she starts crying. She's like, that's just the kind of man he is. And I sat there and I was watching, and I was thinking to myself, like, that's a classy thing to do. It's a stand-up thing to do. But again, and I hate to do this because I'm not trying to say that Kirk is a bad guy. I just feel like the way he moves, you don't know what's authentic. You know what I'm
It's
saying? Like the way that
calculated
he moves, like, is he calling out of authentic sort of support, or is he
because he has
calling
the
because he
cameras.
knows that's the gentleman thing to do?
Well, not only that, it's being documented.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a different level of like even like should I do it because like I'm the veteran and that's what I should do, but then it's also like even if he didn't want to do it that way, is it like fuck? But I got this. I still
Fucking
have like
cameras.
I have to do it. Like I have to do what I have to do, even though I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And then it was and the other thing that I thought was a little curious, and I, again, not to pick on Kirk Cousins, but after he got benched, they showed him at practice, and I'll give Raheem Morris this credit, even though I threw him off the boat, but I'll give him credit for this. They showed him interacting with Kirk, the what appeared to be the first practice after he had called him to bench him, and he was like, "Listen." They show him talking to Kirk. He's like, "Listen, you do whatever you want, like whatever you want to do. You can do scout team, like whatever, however you want to handle this. I want to give you the freedom to handle this however you want. I'm not gonna tell you what you should. I'm not gonna send you somewhere. I'm not trying to embarrass you. Let's try to do this as smooth as
They
possible."
didn't put him at safety.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny that you say that, because so I thought that was nice, the way that he sort of seemed to handle that, like, with good leadership and as a gentleman. But then Kirk, he's doing scout team, and the whole time he's doing scout team, he can't stop talking about how it's been so long since he's been doing scout team. And it
Oh
got to the
God.
point where I was like, okay, brother, we get it. You this is uncomfortable. You getting benched, but like, again, there's a fine line between
Yeah.
just being honest and being on some like, I'm better than this. This is beneath
Yeah,
me
yeah,
type
yeah.
shit. That's how it eventually started to feel like, as he kept on talking about
I
how he
haven't
was in
done this since
scout
I was a
team.
backup. I
Yeah,
haven't
like
done
that's
this
how he
since I
was
was a
told. He's like,
backup.
oh, it's been 10 years since I've had to do this, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, fucking excuse me, like whatever.
yeah.
I mean, I just felt like there were a couple of things that he just did not come across like. I thought he came across great in the first one where he was with the Vikings. I mean, obviously
Mm.
that one ended, but it's funny because I was actually thinking about this when you had mentioned before about how he sort of is always kind of like preparing the excuse before it happens. Like the same thing with when the decision to throw to Hawkinson, who wasn't past the sticks. He had all kinds of justifications that he was happy to explain about that too. And I just feel like that's his thing, man. That's how he, like, everything he does, every move he makes, he's trying, like, it's all part of a big plan to really do every kind of sculpting and crafting of his public image and persona he can. But there was this one thing when they were going through. I think I can't remember if he threw a pick or he missed the guy early in the season, kind of in line with when he was talking about how there's so much motion, so much pre-snap motion. He said to I think it was to Mooney. He was like that he wanted him to sit in the route and he didn't sit and he like yelled at him, and I was like, oh, I just, like, again, we know how it goes, we know how it ends. So, but I was like watching it like, this all makes sense. Like, it's like watching the slow train wreck in motion when he's like calling the coaches, yeah, guys, I'm playing like shit, man. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, man, this motherfucker is cooked. I was like, yo, he is dead. He's screaming
So
at
he's
coaches. He's complaining
so
about
he's
the plays.
basically he's basically Russell Wilson with worse PR. Well, no, with better PR.
Yes, yes, that's a perfect way of explaining it. And at least Russell Wilson, at least, is probably smart enough to not have all his behind the scenes fucking foolery documented in
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
series. But yeah, so that's my general review of quarterback. I thought it was good. Those are the kind of the more noteworthy things. Trying to think if there was anything else with with Burrow when he got his crib broken into. They didn't say anything about the chicks that were there, the chick that was there or whatever, but it it made me laugh. I didn't realize that he canceled the Batmobile.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't know he canceled the Batmobile because of the break-in. But
But is that
like,
one of those things where it's like he used it as an excuse, the break-in? Because I don't see anybody stealing a Batmobile and
what?
trying to get away with it.
I don't think that was it, because it made sense when he explained it, and I think it makes sense. He was talking about just the feeling of they break into the crib. I guess what they stole was jewelry. He said they stole jewelry, and I guess they got, I don't know, maybe they thought nobody was there, and because that's the thing, he talks very little about it, because I guess he doesn't want to get into the details. He starts talking about,
Snitches get
my
stitches.
private life. I don't want to be, there's a certain amount of privacy. I understand that, that I this is what I signed up for, but some things I don't want to talk about. So then they show when he gets back to the facility and he has his press availability, and he's like, listen guys, this is my statement and I don't want to talk about this. He says everybody knows what happened and he's not going to talk about it. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, happy fucking Cincinnati life, brother, because you would not be getting
Yeah.
away with that shit anywhere else. But he talks about how, and this I really felt for him, he talks about just like the feeling of, when no people don't really know exactly where you live. Now somebody knows where you live, and like he was thinking like, am I gonna move?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
the
yeah.
Batmobile. He was thinking like, am I gonna move just because I don't want to be here and I know somebody was up in my
Yeah.
shit, and like,
Like now I have to move
now
different,
people know where
completely
you
different.
live, and somebody's out there. Not only do they know where you live, but they've seen the inside of your shit. They've been in
Are
your
they
fucking
plotting for a bigger
space.
move?
Yeah, exactly. So he was talking about that, and he was just talking about, it's just like you feel violated. So I felt for him on that, and I think that was part of the reasoning behind canceling the Batmobile because like maybe he doesn't even know if he's gonna buy a different house or you know what I'm saying. So I guess that kind of made sense. Like the way that he was kind of talking about just how he felt about the shit, as a whole.
Yeah, like almost like, yo, do I need to lay low?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I don't know, man. But it was good, man. I enjoyed it. Netflix, they do a good job with that shit. I thought,
Yeah,
I want to
I'm
say
gonna
the
pop in an
first one was a
episode when I
little
get
bit
upstairs.
better. I want to say the first one was a little bit better, but I felt like the first one was just the whole Mahomes thing, just like that arc of it being the documenting of a Super Bowl season just seems so perfect that like I feel
Mm.
like they kind of stumbled into that. It's gonna be hard to replicate that. And I felt like it was also kind of perfect because you had like the apex of Mahomes championship.
Yeah,
You
the
had sort of
tears.
like the mid Kirk Cousins playoff loss season, and then you had the bottom of the barrel Mariota, who
Mm.
God knows where he is. I don't know, where's he at? So with
Mhm.
this one, it was like you had Goff. He was kind of like the most. He was not even kind of like definitely the most successful. He had the most successful season of the three. Kirk's season was kind of weird, obviously, and then Burrow. It was interesting. I mean, it was weird because like the fact that they didn't even make the playoffs, but he had such a good season. I felt like I don't even really know how they go about documenting that because you can't really present him as like this
As a
heroic type
Yeah.
of season when they didn't make they show him at the end. It ends with him like they're showing him watching the. It was funny because I remember that fucking that Chiefs Broncos game where they get fucking obliterated, shut out, and it was like, you know, I remember thinking to myself watching that, like, because they're always talking about it during the game. Oh, the Bengals are watching this game closely, hoping rooting for the Broncos to try to get them into the playoffs. And I remember watching that game live, thinking this shit was over so fast that at least they didn't even have to. There was no suspense to it. And then you get
Yeah.
to see see Joe Burrow sitting there in his crib eating a sandwich, just watching the game, no emotion, as these motherfuckers are just getting blown out. He just turns to the guy and he says, like on the screen they showed I forget who was calling the game, but the announcer's like, yeah, Chiefs don't have anything to play for, so they're not playing any of their starters. And then they're like, oh, another touchdown for the Broncos. And then Burrow turns to the guy, he's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to win games when you don't have play any of your starters. Just laughing like, damn, poor bastard, like, fucking shit didn't work out for him. But yeah, but it was good. I was reminded of one of the things that upset me the most. I have forgotten that he won Comeback Player of the Year. I still am very
Oh,
against that.
oh yeah, that's
But they showed him winning Comeback Player of the Year. He said something that really bothered me. I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy, but he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't really want to be winning Comeback Player of the Year. He's like, I hope I'm never up for it again, but if I am, I'm gonna win it. I'm like,
oh my
nigga, you
God.
better not win Comeback Player of the Year a third time. You fucking better retire. You win that shit a third time. No, I still am strongly against. Nobody should win it twice, let alone like you should. There should be no pride in winning it a third time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like you can't
You really
like
shouldn't even
winning.
take pride in winning it twice,
That's what I'm
but
saying. Like
I'll let you
because
slide on two, three, no way.
the I mean, like I could understand the one where he tore his ACL, but like you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we doing? It I don't know, man. It's like comeback is supposed to be from something other than like a down season and a few games. Like, you know what I'm saying? It should be Geno Smith, like a comeback, like his career, what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
somebody who's
kind
coming
of like
back
a
from
down.
like damn near obscurity.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like that's I think that's what the essence
I feel
essence of
like
the
Darnold
game
was the
should be.
perfect comeback player of the year last year.
Yeah,
Darnold, he checked every comeback player of the year box last year, and especially since it's not no playoffs considered, as a
yeah.
as a fucking regular season award. To me, what Sam Darnold did with the Vikings out of fucking nowhere when I expected them to be competing for the fucking number 1 overall pick after last year. What he did with them last season was the comeback story of the season. I don't
Yeah.
even think of Joe Burrow last year as having a comeback year. He had a great year. He had the fucking best player on a shitty defense team player of the year. But I don't think of his season as being some big fucking, comeback from adversity. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like being like you got hurt and but you were basically on the trajectory of doing exactly what you did before and what you did after. It just so happens you got hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like you know what I'm saying? You didn't come back from adversity. You didn't come back from like like a potential like career ending injury.
Exactly,
You know
exactly.
what I'm
That's what I was
saying?
just
Like
about
you
to say.
came back,
Yeah.
you just came back from like a fucking, it's not like Tommy John. It's like fucking, a fucking regular, like a run-of-the-mill surgery that a million other fucking players in the league have gone through and came back from successfully. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. What I will
and you
say
just
is
so
they did
happen
say
to
something
be
about
Joe
that. They
Burrow.
said that I didn't realize this, but they said that he said that there was no other quarterback that has had that wrist surgery before, or that wrist injury before. Um, but still, I still like.
It's a wrist injury.
There was at no point did I think, oh my God, is Joe Burrow's career over? Like
Mm,
if this injury was played up as such that like, oh my God, is Joe Burrow ever gonna be the same again? Then maybe, but
yeah,
I don't remember feeling or hearing any of that last year. Like
yeah.
so I don't know, but yeah,
All right,
that was
well, I'm
so
gonna
I
check that. I gotta check that out. But I gotta head up. Gotta got got two kids that I gotta get ready to go to bed and camp. You know,
camp. I
I'm
hear
not
that.
tiptoeing into the old wash musty as you would call it life. Like I'm fully immersed in it. I was born in it. Molded by it.
Yeah, well, I feel it. I feel it feels good, but it feels like something I don't know if I'm ready to wear it every day. But
Well, the
we'll
thing
see.
is it's about like the standards that you feel like that you think that you need to uphold. Like maybe you know what? I don't need to do all of this every
Yeah,
day.
that's a
You know,
good
it's
way.
a lot of
Yeah,
stress. You know what I'm saying? That's part of you know. Did you end up getting those shirts, by the way? I meant to ask you.
so actually I wanted to tell you. So this shirt. So I got two of the Uniqlo shirts that you recommended to me. I bought those that same day. And then I went online and I was looking for if there was like some type of article or something
It's
that
funny you say that because I was on YouTube last night. Coincidentally, something popped up first because it was like it caught my interest because it was something about like the best T-shirt ever. So for some reason popped up and it was like from the T-shirt that the dude from the Bear wore,
okay.
which sent me, which I watched for like 10 minutes and sent my whole timeline into a rabbit hole that got me into all of this stuff like Muji. Like there's all of these brands that are making t-shirts, which also, Uniqlo happens to also fall within. So I'm glad like, that I was on the right path. But there's a whole fucking rabbit hole that you can go down about t-shirts and how they're made. There was something about fucking this old school Japanese looming technique that popped up. I learned that the reason t-shirts started becoming popular was after World War II.
Oh
All of this
wow.
shit popped up coincidentally yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. So I got the Uniqlo shirts and then I guess since I was already online doing all that bullshit, like doing all that searching and shit, I came up across an article by GQ that was talking about specifically what I was looking for. And it was like the top 12, heavy shirts or whatever. the Uniqlo shirts were on that list, and then not on that list, but through just more search, and I ended up finding this other shirt brand, and they said like they like were advertising themselves as like the heaviest T-shirt available or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna try to order a couple of these joints
And nigga,
too.
I'm not trying to drown.
No, so I ordered those though, and they're fire, but they're a little bit. So they have a couple of different types, and I just ordered I think the regular ones, and then they have a crop one that's not too long. I think I probably
Okay.
should have ordered the crop one because I ordered a 2X, and like I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter, but like it's just maybe a hair bigger than I would have liked. Like I was going for big, but I didn't want it to be like, bling bling video big. I didn't
Yeah,
want it
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like 2002 T big.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Free
but yeah, so I
size.
found these other shirts that were good too. So now I got like a little stable of options, which
Yeah,
I'm
like it's the
satisfied
same
with.
thing that what I'm saying with the thing. It's like, okay, you got the extremes, right? You got the two poles, so you have to, you know, figure out which side you want to lean on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a delicate balance. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying? Where you got to fit into like what you like, what looks good. Also, not be completely like you're not gonna be wearing fucking like Wrangler 3X fucking Midwest, like the Midwest classic fucking tee or jeans. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like,
no, we can't have that.
yeah,
I gotta walk these streets, man. The I'm still out here. I'm still out here in Harlem, and my street cred is right where it needs to be. Like I don't want to be, outside. Like, I don't want.
mhm.
If too many people know me, like I'm doing too much.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm right
yeah,
where I want to be. But if I go out there with some Wrangler crazy shit, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna have work to do to
yeah,
make up
yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So I don't wanna
Mírate,
be
tigre.
deficient. I gotta
Pares
keep a
un viejo.
close eye on my levels.
Yeah, 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 of course, of course. It's finely tuned. You know what I'm saying? It's like salt in a recipe. You know what I'm saying? You gotta use it delicately. You can't go salty, but you can't go desabrillo, bland. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Exactly.
learn how to use it. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
When before, maybe you do the flashy shirt with the shoes and you lay low somewhere. Now instead of going to like two articles of clothing that stand out, maybe we dial it back to one. One article that kind of like that you build everything around. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of doing the double, like the shoes with the shirt or the jeans, jeans with the hat or something like that. Now it's just, you know what? I'm a go, I like these jeans. These shits are fire. And I'm just gonna go subtle with everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. It's dialing back. It's not throwing the waving the white towel. You know.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. We're not fully ending. We're not ending the fight. We're
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
holding on for the end of the round.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We're
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 just trying
playing
to we're just
defense,
trying to get saved by the bell. I'm
holding the line.
I'm clenching, clenching, trying to get out of this round.
Nigga, like the niggas in 300, like you just put the shield down,
Oh
fucking
yeah,
take some
word.
fucking hits. You know what I'm saying? Live to fight another day, because that's all we can ask for at this point. Lizzie, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's rough out here, man.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. We don't need no added stress.
No,
All right, my
sir.
G, but that's gonna do it for the show. Hopefully next week we'll have a movie review from Word Life, who is at the movies right now. We don't know what he's seeing. We don't know what
Mhm.
movie theater he's at, but he's at the movies right now. We'll get a review. I think we have consensus decided it's probably gonna be Fantastic Four, but we don't
Review
know.
these.
We're gonna have to see how many do rags and fitteds and snapbacks and visors or whatever. I forget what the scale
Replicas.
was, but we got to see how many those get. Hopefully, we have him back. We need to find out. I mean, I don't know that there's big Giants news, but we'll see what his thoughts are on camp.
Well, and then did you see that they I guess I don't know if Jackson Dart had a bad day yesterday. I think
He had a
he threw
bad
an
day the day he
interception.
got drafted by the Giants.
Well, in terms of camp, well, I think he had a bad like his first throw might have been an interception. This is what Adriel took because now I have help in terms of like what's going on at camps and stuff like that. So Adriel, I pieced together that Jackson Dart, I guess he threw an interception on his first pass last yesterday, and co not coincidentally signs popped up today about not being
Jackson
able to
Fart.
record. No, not being able to use um, like your phone to record any of the
Yeah, yeah.
action that's happening on the field.
They banned the
So
phones.
yeah, they banned the phone. So
That's
you
when you
know,
know. That's when you know that
it's like when you got the Derek
that's when
Jeter
you
rules.
blindfolding everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, we'll see. But that's gonna do it for the show. Over and out. Let me make sure I can close this out.
Salud.